Welcome to the world of Python loops. In this lesson, we're going to explore one of the fundamental concepts in programming, the for loop. The for loop is a control flow statement for specifying iteration, which allows code to be executed repeatedly. Here's a basic structure of a for loop in Python. It starts with the keyword for, followed by a variable name, then the keyword in, and finally a collection. Inside the loop, you can process each item from the collection. Let us see the syntax. For item in collection, then an indented block which prints processing, followed by the item. So, what exactly is a for loop? A for loop is a control flow statement that allows you to iterate over a sequence of items, such as lists, tuples, strings, or ranges. It executes a block of code once for each item in the sequence, automating repetitive tasks and making your code more concise and efficient. Let's look at a basic for loop structure here. It starts with the keyword for, followed by a variable name, then the keyword in, and finally a sequence. Inside the loop, the indented code block runs once for each item in the sequence. The print statement will output the current item in each iteration. Now let's explore how to use a for loop to iterate through lists. In this example, we have a list of fruits: apple, banana, and cherry. The for loop goes through each fruit in the list and prints I like, concatenated with the current fruit. This way, you can perform operations on each element of a list with ease. Additionally, you can access both the index and the item while iterating through a list using the enumerate function. In this example, we have a list of animals: dog, cat, and rabbit. The enumerate function provides both the index and the animal, so you can print both. The output shows the index increment by 1, followed by the corresponding animal. Next, let's see how to use the range function with for loops to create numeric sequences. The range function generates a sequence of numbers, and you can iterate through it using a for loop. In the first example, range 5 creates a sequence from 0 to 4, and the loop prints each number separated by a space. You can also specify the start, stop, and step parameters in the range function. In the second example, range 2 creates a sequence starting from 2 stopping before 10 with a step of 2. The loop prints each number, resulting in the sequence 2, 4, 6, and 8. Now let's explore how to loop through dictionaries using for loops. When iterating through a dictionary, you can either iterate through the keys or through both the keys and values. In the first example, we have a dictionary called student with keys like name, age, and major. The for loop iterates through each key and prints it. In the second example, we use the items method to iterate through both the keys and values. The loop prints each key-value pair, providing a comprehensive view of the dictionary's contents. Let's see how to use for loops to iterate through strings. You can iterate through each character in a string using a for loop. In this example, the loop goes through each character in the message hello and prints it, separated by a hyphen. Additionally, you can perform operations such as counting specific characters in a string. In this example, we count the number of vowels in the string Python programming. We convert the string to lowercase and check if each character is in the string of vowels. The final count of vowels is then printed. Now let's explore list comprehensions, which provide a concise way to create lists using a for loop. Creating a new list with a for loop involves initializing an empty list, and then appending elements to it as you iterate through another list. In this example, we square each number in the list numbers, and append the squares to the squares list. List comprehensions offer a more compact syntax for the same operation. In this example, we achieve the same result of squaring each number in the list numbers, using a single line of code. The syntax number asterisk number for number and numbers creates a new list with the squares, making the code more readable and efficient. Let's discuss how to control the flow of a for loop using break and continue statements. The break statement is used to exit a loop prematurely based on a certain condition. In this example, the loop iterates from 1 to 9, but when I equals 5, the break statement is executed, and the loop terminates. The output shows the numbers 1 to 4 before the loop exits. The continue statement is used to skip the current iteration and proceed to the next one. In this example, the loop iterates from 1 to 9, but when I is even, the continue statement is executed, skipping the print statement for even numbers. The output shows only the odd numbers from 1 to 9. Now let's explore how to use nested for loops to iterate through multiple sequences. A nested for loop is a loop inside another loop, allowing you to perform operations on combinations of elements from different sequences. In this example, we create a simple multiplication table using nested for loops. The outer loop iterates from 1 to 3, and the inner loop also iterates from 1 to 3. Inside the inner loop, we print the multiplication of I and j. The output shows the multiplication table with rows for 1, 2, and 3. Let's cover some best practices to keep in mind when writing for loops. When writing for loops, it's important to use appropriate iterables, such as lists, dictionaries, or range, that best suit your data structure. Prefer using list or dictionary comprehensions for simple transformations, as they often provide more concise and readable code. Avoid modifying the size of the collection you're iterating over, as it can lead to unexpected behavior. Lastly, use loop variables wisely by choosing meaningful names that reflect the data content, making your code more understandable. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.